Hey everyone, I hope you're well. I thought I'd do another life lately because it's been a time, I'll tell you. So first we'll do an update about Reese. He's just right here, he's just had his nap, so he's just chilling for a minute in his cot. I'll get him out in a second. But yes, so we went to his checkup at the doctor. So he is now over 7 pounds. He's in the 50th percentile for weight, so he's doing amazingly well. He is rolling onto both his sides from his back almost onto tummy, but not quite. He's almost done it once, but then kind of like divvied and didn't again. But he's almost there. But from tummy to back, he's rolled from tummy to back about 3 times. But it's something that he's like, oh, well, I've done it. I'm not bothered doing it again, because he's not done it for about a week now. But I think that's because he's working on something else, and I think that's sitting. So he's always wanting to sit now, and his head control's got so much better. I can actually put him in the ergo embrace front carrier now, so he can front carry, and he loves it. If he's like not quite ready for nap, but like had it, if I put him in that front carry and then just potter around, he is absolutely in awe. He loves looking at everything in the garden and just everywhere. So he is always wanting to sit now, which I think is really common at this point, because my daughter did too. He will still play on his stomach, and I can put like his water mat and put like I've done like vegetables and pasta in like a little bag of water, and like he'll play with it for a little bit, but he's like, nah, I want to sit up. I wanted to sit up now so much more. So I think that'll be his next milestone. He can grab his feet now, which is so cute. He's like playing with his toes. Where's your toes? Where's your toes? He's laughing so much more. It's so cute. This stage is the best. I mean, all stages are the best with babies, but he's so much more communicative. He chats away. He still does his pterodactyl stage, but he also is making sounds more. He's just, you're the best, aren't you? Yes, he's smiling right at me right now. It's just the cutest. You melt, literally melt. So that's Reese. Homeschool is going really well. We've got about 2 weeks left. I did pull in another math program just to try for next year, but also because I wanted to brush up on a couple of things that, since we've been doing algebra this year, we haven't done as much, and I wanted to just make sure that we weren't losing those skills. So and it wasn't coming as fast as it used to. So we did some math UC to brush up on those little areas that we weren't practicing as much this year. Which has been really helpful. She's like remembering it now quite easily. I do think that's a lot to do with we weren't reviewing them as much because we'd gone on to algebra, and also the main reason I think was because when we learnt them originally in Saxon, I don't think they were taught as well as they should. I had to like get other things to teach to help her get the skill, because it wasn't really explained well at all. And it was because Saxon's incremental. You'll do a new lesson every day, so if you haven't quite got that, and then it's on to review, so if you haven't quite got that skill for whatever reason, then every time it's reviewed, you're still struggling, and it's never brought back up again as a new skill. It's just reviewed, if you know what I mean. So that's why with Saxon, I think, because it's so rigorous, you've got the skill, you review it and you move on, and if you haven't, then that can quite cause an issue later on, as we've discovered. But yes, she's picked up on those refreshed lessons, getting them really well. But I do notice there's a huge difference between Matthew C and Saxon, and that Matthew C, it just looks so much lighter on the page because there's so much going on with Saxon. And also it doesn't take remotely anywhere close to the time Saxon does, because Saxon, you have your warm up, then you have your lesson practice, and you have to do what we always did, all the lesson practice, because all the questions related to the lesson you've just done are in the lesson practice. And obviously you've got to do the lesson as well. So you've got your warm up, you've got your lesson that you have to teach, then you have to do your lesson practice, then you have to do your review, and then you have fact sheets to go along with it that can vary depending on what you've done, and then you'll have a test every 10 lessons, and then you have investigations. There's so much involved in it. It's really rigorous, and I do really enjoy the curriculum, but I found in 8-7 some of the concepts were a bit rushed, I felt like, and that's kind of to bite us back in the bum at this point now. But at the time it was okay. It was fine, but it's just later when you're not doing it as much, you're not getting all that reviewing because you moved on to algebra, then you think, okay, yeah, we do need to brush up on that. So we have brushed up on those things. We're on lesson 15 of 30, because we've been doing a lesson a day because it's really easy to, if she's done it before, it's not new. It was just a review, and I just decided to do the whole book just to be on the safe side. But yes, it's so much clearer on Matthew. See, there's no way all the jumble of stuff, but also there's not as many problems, and it just doesn't take as long. And do you need all of the problems? No, if you're getting the concepts, but I think there's enough to know whether you've got the concept, because it's mastery. And I do actually really like mastery. It's funny because I was always, no, I think spiral or incremental is better for us. But now I'm like, actually, maybe I was completely wrong, and that mastery is just as equally as good. So we'll see. I'm going to finish this level and decide. I still have problems getting to accent anyway. I can buy it new, obviously, but the postage is only from America, and it's an absolute fortune. I can't get it from Amazon, which is where I normally would, or some kind of other store. But I did manage to get Matthew C, and although it's come from America, Amazon don't charge a huge amount of postage. They do charge for US postage, but it's nowhere near. It's 90-day difference between what it is from Rainbow Resource, for example. They want over $100 just to post me one thing, which is insane. So yes, I think we might be doing Matthew C next year, but we'll see. We haven't decided, have we? I'm just going to do the rest of these lessons and then go from there, really, and decide what we want to do, whether we want to go back to sex or not. But I'm not going to do geometry if we do Matthew C, because I worry because we're going through this umbrella school, I'm frightened that if I say to them we've got 2 credits of maths before we've even started, they're going to be like, okay. So I think the most I want to go in with is 1 credit, and then we'll just do the credits as we do our 4-year course. You ready to come out? Come on then. Yeah, come on then. So I think that's the plan for now, but obviously subject to change. We'll see how we go. But yes, that's homeschool. So let's talk about our eventful start to summer. We had a swarm of honeybees. So it's a funny story, as in not funny remotely, but one of those things you've got to laugh out, otherwise you cry. I was in my bedroom with Reese. He was napping on me. My daughter comes in and says, there's a wasp in her room, and she doesn't like wasps. She's terrified of them. So I was like, oh, don't worry. You go in Reese's room. I'll get it in a minute. He's going to wake up soon. So he wakes up, and I go to open the door, and obviously during that time things had changed from there being 1. So I opened the door, and the room was literally filled with, I thought were wasps, because I just had a cursory glance and slammed the door shut. Wasn't wasps, but the room was literally filled with them. So I slammed the door shut, run downstairs, and be like, there's a swarm of wasps in the bedroom. So I was like, you're gonna have to go in, open the window to get them out, and shut the vent. So what we have, she has a closed chimney in her room, so you can't see the chimney. They blocked it all off, but they put a vent in for ventilation. So I assumed that they must have come through the vent, which I was right. They're in the chimney and come through the vent. So eventually the courage was plucked up to go in, because it's no mean task to go into a room filled with what you thought were wasps. So he goes in, opens the window, comes back out, goes back in again, closes the vent. We can hear hundreds, if not thousands, in the chimney. So loud, the buzzing. So I phoned pest control and places like that. I say it's a wasp nest initially, but then we find some carcasses and later discover it's not wasps, it's honeybees. And they just won't help. They're like, no, we don't do honeybees. What do you mean you won't help? You'll have to find a beekeeper. So, right, okay. So go onto all these different websites, find this beekeeper, contact them, and she comes around and she's like, oh, I'm just up the road from you. They're my bees. My bees swarmed. I'm sorry, they're mine. I'm like, okay. Right, so what do we do? So she's this hobby beekeeper who sells the honey and stuff at markets and things, and her bees have swarmed and come into my house. So she's like, oh, I'll put this polystyrene hive down, and because they've just arrived, there's a chance they might come out, which is what I read anyway. She's put oils in there to attract them. And so I was like, okay, but what if they don't go in there? She's like, well, so basically, if they don't go in this hive, I've got to find a way of getting them out of my house, which is insane, and at my cost. So from what I've Googled, it could cost thousands. I'm like, how in the world am I supposed to pay for this to get these bees out there, her bees, that have come into my house? And apparently, from what I've read, she doesn't have any legal right to help, because once they swarm, they're classed as wild. So I'm like, who made this law? This is insane. So I am now faced with £1,000 of bills that I can't pay to get these bees out of my house. My daughter can't sleep in the room because they're so loud, plus she's terrified anyway, which I would be. Would you want to sleep next to a vent full of bees? Because I know I wouldn't. So I'm like, what are we going to do? So at the moment we're in the please go into the hive, this fake hive, and stage and see what happens. But yeah, not a great start to summer. At the same time, I've got to refill my LPG tank, which is so expensive because of Iran, and then also empty my septic, and then to have this £1,000 worth of bee fees because it's on the roof, obviously, so there's scaffolding and all kinds of stuff that we required for them to go up there. It's just an absolute nightmare. So please keep your fingers crossed that they go into this fake hive, because I'm just like, but it just makes me really strongly think they should change this law, because why is it fair that I have this bill which I can't pay to get rid of her bees? You know, it's just, if she hadn't had the hive in the first place, then I wouldn't have this problem, because the honeybees don't swarm, not like that, and go into people's houses very often. It's kind of like a freak of nature. But apparently this has happened to her before. So they went into her neighbour's house, but apparently they managed to get them out of that at that point. I'm thinking, why are they swarming, and what are the reasons for them swarming? So apparently it's if they get overcrowded. So isn't that her fault then? That maybe she should have moved them into a separate hive? I don't know. It's just like, I'm not a beekeeper, I have no idea, but it just seems outrageous that this is where we are. So please keep fingers crossed. And that's my update. Hopefully this is all going to resolve and we can have a good summer, but if not, I'm just like, oh my god, what the hell are we going to do with the bee situation? But anyway, that's my update for today. I never thought I would be talking about honeybees invading my house, but here you go. See you soon. Take care. Bye for now.